Are low-value women a liability or asset? While they may have intrinsic worth, their ability to bring skills and attributes to the table can make all the difference when looking for long-term partners. In this video you'll get an honest analysis of traits which could potentially be red flags, so take heed as growth comes from being truthful with yourself. 12. Delusionally inflated sense of value. Some women can have a delusional and inflated sense of value because they think that they bring something special to the table. However, this kind of thinking is ultimately misguided and can leave them feeling desperate and panicked. High-value men are aware of such behavior and often avoid these kinds of women as a result, leading them to assert that a man can't handle me. Unfortunately, this sort of attitude is deeply rooted in fantasy and not reality. 11. They play games. Low-value women are notorious for playing games with men whom they see as beneath them. This game is primarily a test to see how much the man can handle and whether he will fold under pressure. The power imbalance between the two is wholly unfair, but unfortunately, that doesn't stop these women from believing they have the upper hand. These manipulative actions stem from insecurity, where the woman hopes that she can prove her worth by making someone else feel worse. In many cases, these games result in heartache and confusion for all involved, and yet it's still seen as an acceptable way of acting. If you ever find yourself at the receiving end of this type of behavior, it might be time to investigate why the person feels like they have to play those games in order to measure your worth. 10. Insults and shames others. A low-value woman will often insult and shame others, either as a way to impress someone or just out of entitlement. In order to make themselves feel valued, they may belittle the waitstaff or those around them, comparing their partners to high-value athletes and celebrities, as if their partners should be providing the same level of lifestyle. To inflict greater pain, a low-value woman may dig into her partner's insecurities, like referencing their parents, or body-shaming, trying to make them feel weak and ashamed. This kind of behavior is especially dangerous because most women are weaker than men and can't protect themselves from physical pain. It's critical to notice these signs early on before it progresses any further. 9. Loud and inarticulate. Unfortunately, it's all too common to see women unable to articulate themselves using a loud and inarticulate way of communicating. Feeling that their emotions alone should be justification enough for them to be right and refusing to entertain any reasoning or logic that may go against their standpoint. This is sadly destructive behavior, as it renders an individual incapable of deep conversation and understanding the emotions of the other person. It also implies that one feels inferior, so instead of explaining why their opinion is superior, they rely on intimidation through temper tantrums or volume. This lack of articulation speaks volumes about someone's emotional state and can affect relationships as well as overall progress. 8. Out of shape. If one is out of shape, that can be an agonizing wake-up call. With a decrease in self-confidence, one might feel more insecure in their own body and with social interaction. The lack of wanting to go to the gym and exercise could become more and more normal, since self-discipline can fade away quickly when it comes to working out. Being out of shape casts a majority of stigmas in our society, and unfortunately they may never go away anytime soon. Unless we make drastic lifestyle changes, it is imperative to realize that the only path one takes is the path leading far away from achieving a perfect physique or simply lose weight. The best time starting was yesterday, but the second best time is now. It's important not to make excuses, since that only makes matters worse, so let's strive for success. 7. Trashy. In today's society, we all want respect and to be treated with dignity. But it's important to remember that the way we treat ourselves and others is what largely determines how people will treat us in return. Unfortunately, some personalities are trashy as opposed to elegant, which can significantly deteriorate the chances of being respected and having any kind of worthwhile life experiences. This does not mean that everyone who acts somewhat trashy should be shamed for it, but rather that we should all strive to better ourselves, showing self-respect, compassion, understanding, and an overall graceful demeanor toward life in order to get the most out of it. At the end of the day, respect is an attitude generated by one's actions. Advertise a good image for yourself, and that's what will come back your way. 6. Controlling jealous. Women who feel paranoid, threatened and cling to control and show signs of possessiveness in a relationship are likely wrestling with deep-seated personal insecurities. Uncontrolled jealousy is not only damaging for the relationship itself, but it can often be indicative of previous trust issues that have gone unresolved. Such behavior may also hint at an underlying fear of being unworthy or neglected, something that is simultaneously real and irrational. Ultimately, being confident and secure in oneself rather than suspicious and untrusting will ensure relationships are healthier, both mentally and physically. 5. Good time, not a long time. Attention from men can be nice, and it's understandable to feel flattered by this attention. But it's important to recognize that just because you get lots of attention, doesn't mean you have high value in the dating world. Women deemed as ranking high from a sexual perspective could also be seen as bimbos without any substance. Yes, they may often want to spend time with you and give gifts, but don't be fooled, these women are unlikely to see a long-term relationship in the cards with the other person, let alone marriage. Recognizing this fact is key in maneuvering through the dating scene successfully, so you find someone who really appreciates you for who you are and what you bring to the table. For a high body count. A high body count often carries a negative connotation, as it implies a casual attitude towards intimate relationships. For some, this idea transforms into nothing more than a derogatory term used to slut-shame low-value women, those whose reputation precedes them in being promiscuous and willing to accept short-term flings that offer no chance at commitment or respectability. This mindset is sadly perpetuated by men who use this knowledge to their advantage, believing they can take advantage of these women with no real repercussions. It's a dangerous cycle that only serves to further propagate negative views on these people's lives without any room for meaningful change or progress. The reality of the situation needs to be addressed so that these low-value women are given the respect they deserve. 3. Emotionally manipulative. Emotionally manipulative low-value women are a peril to be aware of in any relationship. Using emotional manipulation tactics, these women try to control others and trap them in unhealthy relationships. They are often mischievous and will use lies, deceit and emotional outburst to keep their victims off balance and under their thumb. One of the more desperate tactics some of these women employ is crying no matter the context or situation. They may start sobbing when confronted with disagreement or made uncomfortable by another person's point of view. Recognizing signs of emotional manipulation can help you protect yourself from a partner or friend who falls into this type of low-value behavior. 2. Cares more about impressing other women. In a world where low-value women associate love and happiness with material possessions, it's no wonder there is a trend of side chicks vying for that same attention. Immersing themselves in the beauty of expensive holidays, Instaglow, and keeping up appearances, these women have been allowed to think they are superior if they can show off their Birkin bag. But what has really happened is that the culture has transformed the modern woman into one who cares more about impressing other women than having a meaningful relationship or career. A worrying example of this is seen on TikTok, where women joke that their men no longer love them without a Range Rover being involved, sinisterly playing on an issue that should not be laughed at. This materialistic notion needs to be debunked quickly before our culture becomes one ruled by money instead of genuine connection. One doesn't have a plan for her life. Without a plan for their life, women can often find themselves feeling desperate and fearful as they approach milestones. As years pass on by, it becomes more difficult to figure it out, and the urgency of finding purpose and direction increases. It's as if time is a ticking bomb and you have no idea when it's going to explode. It's essential that low-value women start taking ownership of their future now, so they don't end up panicking in later years when the tables have already turned against them. It's time to be brave and face whatever fear might be standing in their way, so that a plan for their future starts taking shape. With a bit of resilience and determination, these women can build lives they love with confidence and pride. But wait, there's more. To thank you for sticking with us until the end of this video, and because we like saying thank you, here is a bonus. They need to be right all the time. It can be truly exhausting to spend time with someone who always needs to be right, no matter what. Low-value women often have trouble making compromises, or admitting when they are wrong, which can make conversations and relationships incredibly one-sided and emotionally draining. Not only that, but they will often flaunt their own totally fabricated truths, in order to make absolutely sure that they win the debate. It's a desperate attempt at regaining a sense of control over the circumstances, an ability to manipulate the facts by fabricating a reality of their own. It's no wonder so many people feel scared and panicked when confronting these kinds of rigidly one-sided behaviors. Hey, we're so glad you took the time out of your busy day to watch today's video. If it resonated with any part or all, don't forget to subscribe. If this was something worth watching, we'll see you soon.